Welcome everyone. My name is Josh Basile, and I'm the Community Relations here at accessiBe. Today we're going to be busting the myth that accessible design can't also be stunning design, because it absolutely can. Accessibility and creativity aren't at odds, they're actually partners, and we're here to reframe how you think about accessible design. It's not about perfection, it's about being intentional, inclusive, and just starting. We'll get things going, and it's all about being simple, practical, and doable. The big takeaway really is accessibility isn't just the right thing to do, it's about smart business. And it opens doors to it opens your digital doors to more people, strengthens your brand, and ultimately improves your product for everyone. So let's jump into it. We're going to do the next slide. I'll have Haim introduce himself, and I'll introduce my journey as well. And let's make this happen.
Hey, thank you very much, Josh. Indeed, let's make this happen. Well, nice to see you, everyone. Good to see that we have a lot of people joining us. I'm Haim. I'm the VP Design here at accessiBe, basically for the past 5.5 years. And my mission, as well as our mission, is to help you guys create stunning designs and still keep it available and accessible to everyone.
And so yes, and we're all muted, right? Thank you. So my journey started about 20 years ago. I was in waist high water as a teenager. This was back in 2004. And I was in the ocean. A wave picked me up, threw me over my boogie board, and slammed me headfirst against the ocean floor. And that day I heard a loud crack. I was immediately paralyzed below my shoulders, unable to move, unable to turn myself or scream for help. And thankfully, my friends saw me floating. They pulled me to shore. I had to hit a big reset button on life. And when I did, I ended up coming home. Always had a goal of being employed someday. So I went to community college and undergrad at the University of Maryland, and then graduated magna cum laude from law school. And I did that through helpful hands, through incredible technology, and just a focus. But for the last decade, I've been a trial attorney, a consultant, run a nonprofit, and do everything I can just to break down barriers to access and inclusion for people with disabilities. And about 4 years ago, I joined accessiBe as the community relations manager. And I've been loving being on this journey, meeting incredible people and working with incredible organizations like you. The fact that you're here today means that you care, that you want to be a part of this. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you. We got a lot to do today. One of the big things that you'll see in the agenda on the next slide. So you don't know what you don't know, and there's always more to learn. There's always more to do and more to give. That's when you have that in your life, that's kind of where the magic happens and the real change happens. So with the agenda, we're gonna have three different stages. I'm gonna be breaking down kind of the accessibility planning, providing the groundwork for building with inclusion from the start. Haim will then dive into stage two with accessible design looks like in practice and share real tips and tools. Stage three, we're going to have Q&As and go through questions, thoughts, and ideas. And throughout, we'll keep an interactive polls going so that we want to get your input. We want to hear what you're thinking, what your thought processes are, and really we're here to learn together. So like please be as interactive as possible. Answer the questions and let's do this together. Next slide. So now we're on slide three. So with this, we're going to be basically pushing it over now to with sorry, we're going to be pushing it over so that we're going to want to know a chat question. What do you think accessibility means to you? So please answer this, and then we'll dive in and see some of the answers.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what people will write.
And it can mean a lot of different things. So let's
Yeah, yeah.
whatever's on your mind. What does accessibility mean to you? For someone who's blind, it might mean a screen reader to access the world or the internet. For someone that has ADHD, it might mean distraction-free, clean environments and layouts. And for someone also like myself, I have ADHD as well, but being paralyzed below my shoulders. It means accessibility tech that we can take to navigate a page. So for me, you'll see my quad stick right in front of me. I use this to operate my mouth cursor on the screen. I use voice dictation software to be able to speak, and it types everything I say. I also use a screen reader as well to get through pages. So I use a bunch of assistive technology, which kind of makes me a perfect example. But as accessibility, with accessibility in mind, really benefits everyone. So think about using a site on your phone in the sunlight or with kind of a slow internet connection, featuring like high contrast or fast load times helps everybody. And with that in mind, with it helping everybody, being able to plan for this improves the experience for all of your users. Next slide. So, with over 1.3 billion people globally with a disability and more than 1 in 4 adults in the US, these are big numbers we're talking about. There's this impact of disability does not discriminate. It can happen at any moment in your youth and old age or in between. And most of us either know somebody with a disability or have a colleague or have a loved one. And the thing that always got me, even 4 years ago, was that the lack of accessibility that actually exists on the internet. Less than 4% of websites are accessible. We can do better, we must do better. And the fact that you're here means we're going to do better with you. So thank you, thank you. So with the huge gap, this shows that accessibility is not just a niche, it's really mainstream. It's necessary for focused on equality, opportunity, and making digital spaces more usable for all. So let's face it, accessibility lawsuits are becoming more common, and no one enjoys dealing with them. Prioritizing accessibility helps you stay compliant and avoid those legal risks. But beyond compliance, it's a smart business move. The fact is, accessible content reaches more people, boosts engagement, proves that ROI, it builds lasting trust with your users, and it shows that your brand values inclusion in a real, tangible way. So thank you for doing it again. And be hear me thank you a lot today. Next slide. So with the business case, addressing accessibility isn't about doing the right thing. It's about avoiding risk that impacts time, profit, and your reputation. The digital accessibility lawsuits are on the rise, and we can't afford to ignore it. But it also provides powerful business decision in expanding your audience, strengthening that trust, and doing everything we can, again, for that ROI. So most importantly, it shows inclusion matters in your organization, and not just in theory, but in action. Now we're going to go to the ethical case. Next slide. So as I said, yes, it is a smart business decision, but let's be real. It's also, again, circling back the right thing to do. And honestly, who doesn't want to be a hero breaking down barriers? So I love heroes. I love superhero movies. I love just good people in this world willing to go above and beyond. And being able to bring your digital assets into the accessibility world, in my opinion, you're a hero and you're doing incredible work. So accessibility is about people, real people with different needs, and using your content in ways that you might not expect. So it's about progress and not perfection. So a lot of people like, if we're going to do it, we have to do it 100% right. It's about just doing and learning and being a part of the journey. So next time you ask the question, could my grandma use this? Could someone with a screen reader use it? Could someone that uses assistive technology like me use it? That's These are the important questions that need to be asked to make sure that it is part of the people's journey. Next slide. All right, so now we're gonna go. You might be thinking, all right, I like this, I'm on board. Where do I start? For websites and digital content, we follow established standards, and this comes from what's known as WCAG. So, what is WCAG? WCAG stands for Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. It's the international standard for making web content accessible to all, regardless of ability. So these detailed guidelines help ensure your digital content works for a wide range of users. So we'll drop some links in the chat if you want to kind of dive deeper and learn even more. But now that we've kind of covered that foundational element of WCAG and understand where that is and where it comes from, I'm going to throw it over to Haim to talk about creating accessible designs that are also visually stunning. So take it away, Haim.
Thank you very much, Josh. I'm happy to take it away from here. And agree, of course, with everything you said. It's such an important mission, and let's make sure we're gonna get it. I want to talk about designing for accessibility, from the idea to practical design action. Basically, if we can go to the next slide, design is where accessibility basically is born or broken, and the way you design decides who can and who cannot use your product. This is exactly where it starts. Most accessibility barriers basically decide before we even start the coding part. That means that while you tackle the accessibility issues in your design, you can prevent yourself later on to go on and iterate again and again on development issues. We all know how bad it is, basically, especially in the development cycle. We wanted to issue this to tackle these issues way in the start, and of course, this also can prevent us some costly fixes later on the process, as you all may know. Dealing with code again and again is not an easy part. So we studied this, and we found out that basically, if you focus on these six pillars of accessible design, that can cover most of your accessibility issues. And this is so also very easy to understand. And I'm going to go through right now all the pillars, and then I'm going to dive deep each one of them. I'm talking about content, and interaction, visuals, navigation, feedback and errors, and compatibility. Basically, these six pillars will help us gain better understanding on how we can create stunning designs and yet keep it accessible to people with disabilities. And we're going to start with the first one, the content. And basically, that's the easy one. Is your information understandable by everyone? Okay, can everyone operate it? Can everyone know exactly what we're talking about? Um, the next one is interaction. Can everyone operate the UI and use your UI? In terms of visuals, is the content responsive and visible to everyone? Or navigation, can we move forward and find what we exactly need? Regarding feedback and error, as I mentioned it before, can everyone notice and understand system feedback and compatibility? We will work with screen readers, keyboard, different type of browsers and screen. And just keeping that basically will help us. Let's dive in the first one, the content. Basically, we need to keep our content clear and structured. Why does it matter? Um, Basically, users with cognitive disabilities, they struggle with complex or unstructured content. And think of that way, basically, you want people to use less cognitive effort when they are using your products, your digital assets, your websites. If we fail to miss that, basically getting confusing content for our users, they just gonna make them give up, make mistakes, doing actions that you don't want them doing, and we all obviously don't want that. So just make it clear in how you ask. And Josh, if you want to give some tips about uh, how to make the content clear for everyone.
So really with making it clear, it's using kind of plain, simple language that gets straight to the point. If it's too complicated, if people have to break out a dictionary or just being able to make sure that it's simple, 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 and that anybody can understand it. You want to make the simpler it is, the easier it will be for everybody. So making like sure your calls to action so that it's really clear to them and know exactly what to do. And then nothing that like where they have to like think about it too much to like, all right, what am I going to do next? How am I going to do this? So a truly clear call to action is so essential. But structure your content in a logical and user-friendly order, making sure like you can have that journey of start to finish to get everybody to the finish line. If you're getting only like 70% to that finish line of like a, I don't know, a race or a marathon, you're going to lose a lot of people along the way. And as a business, nobody wants to lose people along the way if they're willing to want and be at that finish line. So structure the content logically and put that in that friendly order, but really be mindful of kind of the motion. Avoid like anything like that moves a lot that can't be paused or stopped, as it can be really distracting. It can overwhelm users, and also for those with like epilepsy, if that movement is in a certain way, it can trigger an epileptic event, which nobody wants. So it's really, thinking about that content, thinking about that journey, and then, really being able to like look at and witness people testing it. You can get your friends and family to test it, having people with disabilities that you know in the community to test it and watch how they go through it, how they use their technology. There's tons of companies out there also these days that bring in user testers with different abilities that you can have join in and test your website. There's a lot of different things that can be done. It's what are you going to choose to do to be proactive to make it happen? And, I think what will be fun right now is let's do a quick poll and we're going to have you pick the different version of content that you think's
Yeah,
better.
awesome. Let's put that into practice.
So I want you guys to be able to read both of these on either side. And we're going to give a few more seconds after you read it and think about it and look at it. And which of the frames, the one on the left is frame one, the one on the right is frame two. Which one's better? Okay. All right. 100%. I love it. You guys are brilliant, and that is 100% the correct answer. So thank you and how do you want to kind of chime in and kind of describe kind of why is that the one on the right side the much better option?
Yeah, that was pretty obvious. Everyone was right. Like we said earlier, we want to keep it clear. We want the headlines to be short as possible, to give really honest directions about what needs to be done. We want to avoid jargon. We don't want people to not understand what we're saying. Some people doesn't understand this kind of words. So basically, we want to keep it as simple as it is, and of course using bullets and points. This really helping us to have some sort of directional in what we're reading and a better understanding about how we read stuff. This is what our studies shows us, and of course you can try it yourself, and as you all seen, this is way faster and easier to read, obviously. So this is why everyone picked this option as well.
It's just a better, more digestible journey that you just brought someone on. And I bet you there's so many places on your sites right now that are doing frame one that you could update to look like frame two as well. It's just we could always keep kind of making those important touch points to just strengthen our site. A lot of times we throw up our site and it was such a fun and overwhelming process that we all experience of the time that it takes to, really do the storytelling, get it up there. But as time goes on, there's nothing against the rules that you can't go back as you learn new best practices or think about different ways of making it easier and better for people. It's just it is a journey. Accessibility is a journey, design is a journey, and it's about just keep on making those touch points and being willing to think about it with inclusion in mind, in the back of your mind. Next slide. So interaction. So it's not everybody uses a mouse as we're learning today. And people navigate websites in many different ways because we have many different abilities. Some people use keyboards. I personally use an on-screen keyboard and voice dictation software like Dragon Naturally Speaking. It does amazing things for me. It's allowed me to be a trial attorney, to be the community relations manager at accessiBe. It's given me access to the digital world. But a lot of times, if the website doesn't support these inputs, I get stuck at checkout, or I can't fill out a form. I can't even put my name and credit card information in. Like every business wants to make sure that their clients can check out or sign up for that appointment, or can be able to navigate the filters properly to buy the product that's right for that person. So when this happens to me, I first get a little sad, I get a little frustrated, and then I leave the site. Sometimes I might have some helpful hands next to me of friends and family, but I don't always have that right by me. So it's like it's so key. Not everybody else does either. And then what ends up happening, those people that had those blocks end up just going to someone else that has done it right. And they really just don't return as a customer. But one of my favorite statistics of the disability community is that people with disabilities are the most brand loyal customers that you'll ever face. They literally, if they're taken care of right, they come back again and again as repeat customers. And it's because of that 4% statistic that we were saying before. If you're able to find a website that does it right, you're going to come back because you want to have that same experience again and again and again. So yes, let's make that happen. All right, so next slide. So now we're going to talk about how we fix that kind of interaction stage. And that's why it's so important that we make sure your site works and it works with all those input methods. So every user should be able to interact, take action, have engagements, and stay engaged on your website. Testing your site using on-screen keyboard or using your keyboard yourself, using voice dictation, using screen readers. There's a lot of free programs out there that you can test these things out yourself, or you can get community members to do it as well. And just make sure you just don't use your mouse or your finger on your touch screen. Like try to use what the technologies of the day are to play around with it and making the interaction cues clear. Enable full keyboard navigation. Use visible focus indicators, and don't rely on like a color alone to signal interactivity. That just, we have people with inability to see certain colors or just the different color contrasts. It just comes out of their vision. And I've got to say, being able to benefit from accessiBe's Access widget to make your website more usable and having all those options and to do kind of the remediation and fixing the different problems. I've Access widget on every single one of my sites and nonprofits and platforms. I love it. And everybody today wants options. I don't care if you have a disability or usability, but in fact, having options gives us choice. It gives us power to be able to experience the way we want to experience a website. So let's try another poll right now and see what you think. So, yep. Uh, so with this interaction, we're going to be selecting a range. Okay. All right. So we had 89% choosing frame one and 11% choosing frame two. So
Yeah.
I'm
That's
describe the good and the bad.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. Basically, when we're talking about interaction, we want to make sure that everyone will have an option to control your UI, to control to control the design, to interact with it. So basically, not all the users have the capabilities of using a mouse. So adding these kind of buttons, plus and minus, also adding shortcuts in your keyboard, that's going to help the majority of people to use your UI components. So yes, this is why frame one is a better choice than frame two. Just by adding more controls, control options, basically make your website more accessible.
And the keyboard navigation on the left one is going to give multiple options as well to be able to really trigger it, which is a
That's
huge one.
that's true. Very correct. By the way, the common use for that is using the arrow keys according to a cut. So basically, when you have a scroller and you define it as a scroller, having the keys left and right basically will help people use the controller without a mouse. So this is also something that is important.
So I'm going to throw it back over to you, Hein.
Yeah, let's go moving forward, talking about visuals. Thank you very much, George. Basically, visuals are the designs, designing for all visual levels. And that means basically that we want to design to stand out in one way, but we also want to design to be able to be viewed and read with all different kind of disabilities. And we're going to tackle it right now. It matters because we have different kind of users with low vision or color blindness, and I'm sure you guys back at home know someone that has it, and they need stronger contrast and readable design. And if we fail to miss it, people with these kind of disabilities will basically won't see the critical information in your design, and we want to avoid that, obviously. And this is pretty much very easy to fix. I mean, you just need to maintain, if you're going to go to the next slide, you just need to maintain a contrast ratio of 3:1 for large text and 4.5:1 to the rest. And you can do that today very easily with Figma. Figma has a new built-in option if you're using obviously Figma for the design. You can see the ratio. Just mark the accessibility button over there next to the color picker, and you will be able to see that. We're going to demonstrate this very soon. We need to allow your text to be resizable to 200%. It's about people that have struggling reading with small fonts, and this is not just talking about people with disabilities, even my grandmother, for example. So it's that easy for everyone to use and see your design and consume it by everyone. This is very important. You want to use large, clear touch targets, and that means that if you're using mobile phones or if you're using your screen, um, you want all the touch targets to be well enough, big enough to people touch it, like Android and iOS, as they have their own rules of 44 and 45 pixels. So people will have enough space with their fingers to touch the screen. You don't want people to start tackling the screens. So this is very important for you also to make sure that your design will be usable for people. And if we're gonna put this into a practice again, the tools that I love the most, you have this one. I guess this one is an easy one, but maybe not for everyone. Let's try this one. Just choose whatever you guys think as better visuals for the design, frame one or frame two.
Great job.
Hey, yes, yes, very good job. That can be confusing because of the button, but most of you has speed it up. That was easy to maintain enough contrast so people can see. Even if you use different kind of colors, and you can see that in this design we use blue and baby blue and eggshell. So even if you want to use different kind of colors that are not very standard, just keep the contrast and you'll be fine. Um, yeah, we talked about Figma. If you can go to the next slide. Um, I promise you, I'm going to show you a little bit how this work. Just go to the Figma software, you guys. You want to use that to validate basically the color choices right on the go when you design. That's very easy. You don't need to do perform a long QA session afterwards. If you take it into consideration while you do design, your stunning design, this will be so much easier afterwards. And basically it gives you like the critical features to become invisible to users. And this is what we all want, obviously. If you go to the next slide now, yeah, this one, no, the one before. Yeah, this one. So yes, as you can see, you press, if you can press the button on the top right corner, this is basically what will give you the contrast checker that's that's built in with Figma. And you can see that using this one, basically what Figma does, it takes the component, the selected components, and check it with the background that it sits on, and give you the exact contrast, and it also give you the type of WCAG that is available too. You have double A or triple A, so you have everything in one place. You don't have to go to install different types of plugins. Just use this one and get a better understanding. If you don't want to use this one, of course, we have Access widget that can do this for you. It changes the contrast, giving your users the ability to do it themselves, or you can use other online checkers. There's plenty of them. Just type in contrast checker, and you'll see it. And moving on to navigation, the next part, pillars, design pillars. When it comes to navigations, users expect a predictable journey. You don't need to reinvent the wheel for digital experiences, because accessibility is also about consistency and clear structure. We don't want anyone to get lost or upset by user flow. They don't understand just because that. Basically, if you fail to miss that, again, you got lost users, you got them frustrated, which is not very good for your reputation, obviously, and lots of them will just abandon the site. Moving on, you want to know how to fix it, right? So that's easy. We're all using templates, right? So keep using consistent page layouts, just like any kind of templates you're using for a product. This will help them to understand how to use the navigation in your website. Use ARIA landmarks and skip links. You can talk with developers about that. This is more technical, but anyone working with dev teams try to align to consistent page layout. It's easier, of course, if you're working with specific CMS template rather than just custom build for each page, obviously. So this will also help you to maintain the navigation part, and use the correct semantic. I'm talking like ARIA landmark and skip links. If you don't have a dev team that will do it, you can use Access widget that will do it for you, and just it helps also keep the logical focus order of your website. And again, let's do the pool, put into a test. Another one. This one is trickier, but I'll explain the difference in a moment. Go ahead. Okay, we got the pool. Very good, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and explain. Usually, when we are creating, and this is to the developers among us, when you code, you can use tagging for different kinds of sections in your web page. So you can use div for any kind of section, and basically you can use the semantic tagging for this. Why is it important? Because screen readers will know exactly where they are in the page. People will be able to navigate easier when they know exactly what kind of content they are consuming, what type of section it is. Is it a header, a footer, the navigation bar, any kind of semantic tagging is very important here, so people will be able to navigate your website very easily.
There's
Uh,
a lot of shortcut keys on keyboards and on screen keyboards that you can just jump around the page really quick to get to the content that you need, and it saves me so much time. So I love the one on the left very much.
that is very true. As we said earlier, not all of the people use mouse. Some people use assistive technology to navigate your website and your product, and you want them to be able to go through all of these areas. So yes, that is a very important one. Um, so let's talk about the last thing, right? um Basically, we right now, after we have all these pillars, we want to communicate everything to our developer. Okay, so right now, when you finish with the design phase, you said, okay, how am I going through this? How am I pulling this through? And basically, the best way to do that is to communicate all your design files to your developer through any kind of annotation. Okay, Figma has it, but it's not very concentrated in accessibility. This is why I recommend you guys use an annotation toolkit, any kind of annotation toolkit. We especially like the CVS Health annotation toolkit, but you can pick up whatever you want. Basically, what it means, it's marking up your files to your developers, so you both have better communication, so the developer will know how to execute your stunning design. And again, if you don't use any kind of AI and tools like our Access widget, you can annotate your designs to your developers through one of these annotation toolkit. And it's also very simple because these toolkits already have all the information that you know. So you don't have to think, okay, what should I do? Is it enough? Is it not enough? Just follow the stickers inside the annotation toolkit, use it on your design, and voila, you have it. Just deliver it to your developers, and it will be really easy for both of you to maintain accessible processes and accessible design, even in the development process. Um, and yeah, basically, moving forward to feedback. um the number 15 on our list basically is the feedback help tell the users exactly what is happening and why, right? We want our users to understand what's going on. If you don't provide real-time feedback on the screen, basically the user gets stuck and has poor experience, and a lot of them get angry, and just leave the website. I think about all the times you tried to click on something and it didn't took you to the next page. How frustrating is that? So what can we do about it? Okay. Well, first of all, we want to make sure we add clear, visible messages that also announce this to assistive tech. For example, screen readers. It's not only important to say the password is too long or the password is too short. We also want to announce it to assistive tech. So also, users who are blind will be able to understand exactly, or user with visual impairments. We have another example here at the poll. If we want to move forward, um, let's talk about that. What do you guys think, frame one or frame two? And also you can say, tell us why. While you guys are picking your design, we have some questions um, from the audience. I just wanna touch base. Are your landmarks? And Sylvia asked that. Basically, and we will talk about it later on. Are your landmarks is what we are telling the your computer, your devices are the components, in which state the components are, and we are helping people, usually users who are blind, to understand. For example, if a drop down is open, a user who is blind don't see that the drop down is open. So we're adding an ARIA role, basically, that says open. So this how the user who is blind will know that right now the drop down is using. This is just one example for what is ARIA tagging, but you can look it up more. So we have the results. Nice. Oh yeah. Well, 96% on, obviously, you guys will ride, and why, let's talk about it. We're giving them, it's not enough to give the user the red color. As you can see on frame one, even though the password was wrong, we used the red color, and the button is disabled, but we haven't give them enough feedback. What about visual impairment? What about colorblind users? So we want to give them enough feedback, okay? And we want to tell them why this is wrong. Why this is wrong? You have 7 characters, but you don't have upper and lowercase characters. So this is also, you want to provide the most feedback you can to help your user gain better understanding about what is doing wrong. And this is why frame 2 is the right one. And moving forward, finally, the last stage we have is compatibility. How do we make sure all devices have the same experience and interface? Again, and this is one a bit more technical. And if you don't have a team of developers or one developers that are working with you can use Access Widget to help you do that, because he's doing this. He's utilizing AI to do that automatically. But it's really important to test, even if you have different browsers, different computers or mobile phones that you allow, that allows you to see any hidden differences. Again, we're talking about ARIA when necessary. I just explained to Sylvia here what are ARIA tagging, and why is it important to use semantic HTML. Different browsers will know how to deal and how to show your website when you're using semantic HTML. So it will be more compatible to different kind of devices, and not mentioning obviously also screen readers. And yes, test it. Test your design with common screen readers. And today is very easy. If you have Mac, you can use the voice controller by Mac. This is sort of a screen reader. You can find it under accessibility in your settings panel. There are some other screen readers you can use, like NVIDIA and JAWS, and there are plenty in the market. Just go ahead, check it out, search for it. I'm sure you'll find plenty of this, and just test it. It's important. And talking about tests, let's put our allergen test. Next is the pool, and again we have 2 frames, as you can see. Basically, it's 2 images. The ACA Accessible Canada Act is an image, and as you can see, and yes, this is more technical, but you can see that on frame 1 we have the code for it, the tagging for it on HTML, and on frame 2 we added alt. Alt, for guys who don't know, is alt text, alternative text. And basically the results supposed to be pretty easy here. I guess yes, 98% you guys were right. When you have alternative text to images, this is how screen readers will be able to read out what's in this image for users who are blind. And again, users who are blind can see the images on your website, obviously, and you need a way to communicate what's in the images for your users. So this is why you use the alt tagging. These days we have a lot of AI tools that helping us automatically, and the AI today is very advanced and can give very accurate information about what's going on pictures for users who are blind. So this is why also using Access widget here is an easy way that is doing this, automatically for all your images on your website. But of course, you can do it manually. You can write down whatever you think is right for your users to understand about these images. You wanted to say something, Josh?
Yeah, I was gonna say AI is getting really good at doing the descriptions, but at the end of the day, the person that took the photo, the person that puts the photo up on the website, they truly are the best storyteller. And it also helps with the flow of the site and other things. So like if an image is on their best practices, if you have the ability, the time and energy to be able to be that storyteller with the alt text, make it happen. But having the access widget there to have your back as well is also an option.
Yes, that is completely true. And with that note, moving on to the last part, and now we guys leave you here and let Josh and dealing with this. So first of all, thank you for this. It was pretty honor for me to accompany you in this road of making your design accessible. And of course, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn or whatever. You have more questions, I'm here for you guys. Thank you very much, Josh.
Thanks for your design expertise and your voice and
Thank you,
just all
Josh,
that
and
you
from
do for the accessibility journey. So let's see what questions we have. We have a few minutes. But again, thanks, Haim. So we got my wonderful, wonderful colleague Sapir here who can present some of the questions.
Thanks, Josh. We had some pretty good questions throughout, and if you have questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. The both of us would be happy to answer this. One of the first questions that I saw that really interested in me, and Josh, I think you're the right person to ask this, is I'm just trying to scroll through and find it. Apologies. Why would I still need to install an accessiBe solution on my website if I still have to design the website like this?
So accessibility is a journey. So first of all, having an access widget on the site every 24 hours, it does a scan of the site. Websites are constantly updating. Websites are constantly being changed, and there's so many different parts of a website as time goes on that need to have those kind of best remediation fixes, and having that there is key. And then, you know, the big thing that I love the most about the Access widget is the usability it brings to my accessibility tools or my unique abilities, whether said I have ADHD, I have a reading disability, I also have paralysis below my shoulders. Like being able to have the Access widget with all the different profiles and incredible customization tools. I use it differently on different websites. Some websites I want to experience one way, another website I want to experience another way. So it's just having those options truly does give all of your customers the ability to navigate and experience the site on their own terms. It gives them kind of a superpower of sort on the internet and especially on your website. So yeah, the Access widget is one of my favorite things in the world.
That's awesome. Thanks, Josh, for sharing. We have a question from Rihanna Campbell. She asks, and this is actually for social media, which I'm sure there are plenty of designers here who deal with social media. Is it better to add an image description in the caption or an alt text to the image itself?
Um, I personally think putting it into the alt text section, it doesn't hurt to put it all in both, but I think it's met and can go in the alt text section, and the persons with screen readers will be able to use that. I guess saying that out loud, having it also in the description area also just gives other people with different abilities to be able to read what the meaning of the photo is as well. So it could help other people in that respect as well. But Sapir, what do you think on that?
I absolutely love this question because one, we created a resource for this, which I'll share in a moment, but also alt text is really created, or alternative text was really created to help screen reader users understand what is coded on it, what is the text or what is in the image. It also helps with SEO at times. So if your image doesn't load, the text that you put on the back end might actually be there instead and help the user, whether they're blind or not, understand the context there. The image description really is about the context of the image, and that's more related to people who have maybe cognitive disabilities or want to understand why they chose the photo that they did. So I always use both. I recommend using both because they offer accessibility to different communities and generally make your photo more accessible, but it's for everyone. And in a moment, I'll share a link for you to get a free alt text guide that we have on our website so you can learn how to add that alt text to your different social media platforms as well as for your websites. Okay, next question is from Jeff. They use accessiBe on their website, but they're planning to do a complete redo. How do we get started on that? How do we design a website that's truly accessible, especially if we're working with an online portal or app? They are
So,
based in Canada.
so one of the big things, and I would just say I love when I started at accessiBe, we very much were our access widget was our flagship or our big product and service that we had for people that needed support in that area. We are now a full suite different services and being able to have our access flow, which is actually a developer tool from the beginning of building your website, where you can actually start coding your website and having all the different suggestions to make improvements through the manual remediation process. So, being able to have your website from the beginning, the foundation is the best practice. But not everybody with accessibility being a journey, we got to catch people where they're at. And that access widget helps in all the different stages. So I'm a huge believer of using access flow from the beginning to build it right with the right coding, and also using an access widget as the journey of always as it gets updated to be able to have that in the background, but also specifically kind of with the usability. The access widget gives all those profiles, all those unique customizations, which takes the experience to another level.
That was great. Thanks, Josh.
Oops.
There's a question, does the accessiBe widget or what we call access widget send alerts when issues turn up, or do the designers and developers need to check online reports? Do you want me to take that one?
You got it, Severe.
Okay, cool. So with Access Widget, it is an AI-powered solution that automatically remediates the code issues on the website to make them accessible. But if you wanted to check your reports, we do send a monthly report to your account that will have an overview of all of the adjustments that have been made over the course of that month. Of course, we do offer more in-depth remediation reports as well as manual audits. So if you haven't talked to your account manager in a while, or you want to learn more about the different ways that you can test the code level for accessibility, definitely reach out to us and we'll follow up with you to provide you with more answers and solutions. I think we're approaching the very end of this, and there are a few more questions. So, to be fair, I will consolidate those and make sure that Josh and I, as well as Chaim, address all of them. This has been a fantastic session. Josh, do you want to share any final words before we close?
Yeah, thank you, Severe. Thank you. And thank you so much, everybody, being on this journey with us. And the fact that you're here again means you care. That means you're willing to do something. And we're here to be on this journey with you as well. So I just always want to like say this to people, especially businesses and those that are in the designing world. Accessibility isn't kind of that checklist. It's a commitment to people. It's a commitment to your customers because every digital choice kind of we make, either includes people or excludes someone. So let's choose to include, let's build with empathy, let's design with intention, let's create digital spaces with everyone in mind that works for everybody. And I just watched a Steve Jobs movie, and it's just I'm a big fan of him as a design, just a big fan of his anyways. But he had a quote: "Design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works." So, in my opinion, let's make it work for everyone. And just thank you, everybody. And on this last slide, so GAD, Global Accessibility Awareness Day, was on May 15th earlier this month. It's an incredible day where we build advocacy, have the right conversations, teach the world that accessibility matters. And we have this incredible package. If you go to accessibe.com/GAD, GAAD, we have all of these different packages of content and posts and everything else that you can use to be able to share with your community and repost as well and brand it with yourself and others. It's a really cool conversation starter, and you should be so proud to be an organization, a company that cares and being on this journey. And the more we're able to promote that you care, other businesses start as well, jumping on the bandwagon. And it's just the next thing you know, we have a more accessible internet and digital products across the board. So thank you, everyone. And yeah, make sure to hit this link.
Thanks, Josh, and thank you everyone for attending. We'll send the recording out in the next few days and answers to any questions that we missed today. Have a good one.
Thanks, Sapira. Thank you, everyone.